All right. So today we're talking about key features, which includes a bunch of things like end behavior and continuity and if it's discrete or not. So we're going to be talking about these things. So end behavior describes the behavior of the graph of the function at the ends of the x-axis. So like it'll say as x goes to negative infinity, y does what? So it could be like approaching a number, it could be going straight up, it could be going straight down, it could be doing lots of things. And then it'll be x goes to positive infinity, y does what? Again, it could be approaching a number, it could be going up, could be going down, all sorts of stuff, okay? And so that's really all end behavior is talking about. Continuous is a function that does not have any abrupt changes in value. In other words, you can draw it all with one line. You never have to pick up your pencil. That's how you can tell if it's continuous. Discrete is not that. It's a function in which domain and range are each discrete set of values. In other words, discrete means we have like, if here's our graph, then we have a point here and a point here, and then we have a point over here. Or we could have like little lines like this. It's just, there's pieces to it. Okay? All right. Then increasing is a function in which increases as the y value increases when the x value increases. In other words, they both go up at the same time, they both go down at the same time. Increasing functions look like this. Okay, where they go up from left to right. Decreasing is the opposite. It is a function that goes down from left to right. In other words, as x increases, y decreases. Okay, see how as we go further right, the value of the graph goes down? Okay, an intercept is a point in which a function crosses an axis. So we've got our x-intercepts. So this would be where my x-intercepts were located. They are located on my x-line. And then my y-intercepts are located on my y-line. Okay? We are going to do so many of these. You're going to be a little sick of them. So in this particular one, we're going to identify the domain, the range, the end behavior, the x-intercepts, the y-intercepts. And we're just going to say, is it increasing or decreasing just for fun because it's not on my list. So the domain of this graph happens to be from negative infinity to positive infinity because if you notice, if I squish this all onto the x-axis, we have an arrow pointing that way, we have an arrow pointing that way, and we have a nice little line going in both directions. Then the range is the same. Okay, if we squish it all onto the y-axis, we have an arrow pointing down, we have an arrow pointing up, and we take up the entire line. We have arrows pointing away from us. So my range is also negative infinity to positive infinity, and my domain is negative infinity to positive infinity, because we would take up all the numbers on the x, all the numbers on the y. So the end behavior says x goes to negative infinity. In other words, as we go farther left. So as we go further and further left, is it going up or down? It's going down, so it should be y goes to negative infinity. Then as we go further right and right and right, we're going up. So then it goes to positive infinity. Now here my x-intercept, you'll notice, is on my x line. This is my x-intercept. It's 1, 0. Notice we put the point. Okay? And then my y-intercept is down here. It's this -2. But we do the y value, because this is my x-intercept, this is my y-intercept. Okay, and my y-intercept is on my y-line. Alright, let's practice another one. So over here we have a nice pretty line. Again, if we look, let's do our domain first, which I did in pink last time. So our domain is if we squish it all into the x-axis, so these have arrows. So if we squish it all into the x-axis, we will have arrows pointing in both directions. All of that line in between is covered. So this is from negative infinity to positive infinity. My range, similar idea, just the y-axis now instead of the x-axis. We'd have an arrow pointing up, an arrow pointing down. It's everything in between. So my range is negative infinity to positive infinity. So as x goes to negative infinity, in other words, as we go further and further left, which way is the graph going? Up or down? It's going up. So as x goes to negative infinity, y goes to infinity. So if we look at the right end behavior as we go further to the right, or as x goes to positive infinity, it's going down. So my x-intercept, ooh, this will be good. Oh, and then we can answer, is it increasing or decreasing? Well, as x goes up, y goes down. So this is decreasing. Okay, my y-intercept, since apparently we're going backwards, is this point on my y line. So it's 0, -2. And my x-intercept is on my x line. It's right here. It's going to be -1, 0. All right, hopefully that one went okay. It was a lot of information. Let's try it again. So if you'll notice, this one again is a straight line. My domain is going to be from -infinity to +infinity because it takes up my entire line right there. Then my range, same thing. It's -infinity to +infinity. That's a little easier to see because it's going up and down in both directions. Okay, so as x goes to -infinity, in other words, as we go further and further left, are we going up or down? It's going down, so we'd say -infinity. Okay, and as we go further and further right, which way are we going? Up or down? We're going up, so it's +infinity. All right, so let's see what my x-intercept is. So my x-intercept will be on my x line, so it's right there. So that's 1, so this is 2, it's like 1.5. Sounds good to me. And then my y-intercept is at -4. So my x-intercept is going to be 1.5 in my x and 0 in my y. And then here it'll be 0 in my x and then -4 in my y for my y-intercept. Now looking at this graph, is it increasing or decreasing or constant? This one's increasing because from left to right it's going up. Alright, I want you guys to give this one a shot, and if you're having a trouble seeing this equation in number 4, the line is right there. Okay? Alright, then once you finish that, we'll come back together for number 5. Okay, notice this graph's a little different, so we're going to have some different things going on.